the beginning and the end.
Yeah, cause we just, and they wonder why we bang, cause the police do the same. That's the only rival gang. I'm just sitting here praying to my father, tired of the day, forever scared of tomorrow. Was a scale I could borrow.
Chilling under that plant life. I want to make a video right now. That video is going to be called The Real World, okay? And that's what we're going to be talking about. It's a hummingbird right there. But the real world is something you hear a lot. A lot of y'all don't even realize it. When you're in school, you hear this all the time. They say, get ready for the real world. You know, when you're in elementary school, you're trying to get to middle school. Then when you're in middle school, you're trying to get to high school. And then your parents may say, you know, if you have to get ready for the real world when you're going into college. Alright? Or, you know, when you're in college, you have to get ready for the real world. That's where you really hear it the most, in college. Because they want to say, well, they don't really want to say, I don't want to say it like that, but what they're saying, without noticing it, because it is what they're saying, is that school isn't the real world. So if it's not the real world, because they didn't call it a fake world, but they say you have to get ready for the real world. So if you have to get ready for it, that means you're not in it yet. So if it's not the real world, it has to be a form of matrix. And if you know anything about the education system, and that No Child Left Behind, the teacher policies, the curriculum, how they have to teach a certain criteria, you understand that this is all a script, a matrix. You learn a robotic teaching, an education that is basically manufactured and artificial, because they don't let the teachers teach what they want to teach, even in college. You know, many schools may, but by default in America, they do not. They have to follow the Board of Education system. And this is where everyone is getting that regurgitated textbook mentality. And who wrote those textbooks? You know, it's a certain party of people, and they're writing what they want you to know. They don't teach you what you should know, what you have to know. And even, you know, worse, they don't teach you reality. You know, they teach you a lot of misconceptions and lies. And that's why they say get ready for the real world. But the only problem is, when you get into that real world, you're going right back into a matrix. But it's a different matrix. You're leaving the green matrix and going into the blue matrix. Okay? Because you're in the script, in the forefront when you're in the schools. And then you take the blue pill instead of the red pill. And you're in that blue matrix. Now, a lot of people realize this and wake up from that matrix and snap back into reality, and then they have to go through a relearning. So they wasted about 18 to 20 something years of their life learning false information, misconceptions, myths, lies, and fables, you know, biased stories to fit a certain political agenda, and then they have to go into their own learning. So if they just wake up at the age of 20 something or 18, their mind state, even though they may know basic math, they know how to read, they know how to write, their mindset for a free thinker is at the age of 1. It's at infancy, because they have to now teach themselves. They're just getting into what's true and what's not. And this is why the real world has to be taught to the children and to everybody. Even if you're an adult, even if you're 52, you have to learn about the real world. And you have to understand that the real world that they speak of is antithetical. It's opposite. It's polar to school. To the schools you've been teaching. Those colleges that you've been spending all that money in and on, you know. Because you're building them up to just repeat the cycle even more powerful. You know, the more money you give to these schools, you may notice a lot of them spend it on football teams. It's more prevalent for a school to have a good mascot, a good logo, a great name, a good history, in a wonderful football team rather than smart, intelligent, A-making students. And you could tell by the differences in our school system versus other school systems. Like in Norway, you get free education in college. In the United States, of course, you already know the answer. It's a lot of money you're spending. You're spending to get education because you have to earn the rights. But here's the trick. They do it this way because they know you already been brainwashed in the years of high school, middle school, and elementary. So after that, they take it one step further into the scam, and they make you pay to rip yourself off mentally. So you have to understand that. You have to separate the fallacies from the realities, the farces from what's right, what's accurate, what's literal. Okay? So I just want y'all to think about that real quick and really educate yourselves, read books. A lot of people don't understand the power of books. I say each book is an arsenal in your mind, okay, that you can use in battle. A battle against the evils in this world, battles against the propaganda, battles against the scams, the ignorance, battles against the white beast, also known as the government, okay? And yeah, every time I say the white beast, I'm talking about that white power head in the government, not white people, okay? I want a lot of y'all to understand that. It's not about disliking white people. It's about really looking at and highlighting the people who are in charge, okay, and where they're coming from, because many people don't see the relevance of it, but there is. If you don't say it's this white beast attacking us, then your troops out in the back, they're gonna be clueless of what's to come ahead. You see, you can't just say someone's attacking us, someone's throwing away our freedoms, because the people who are getting the message in the background, just catching on, they're gonna be like, well, who is it? You know? And they're going to be coming across all these people, and all they're going to see is allies, neutrals, and they should be seeing enemies, but they won't be able to because you haven't really termed who's the enemy, okay? So if the police was to come to you because you filed a report, someone stole something from your house, you're not going to say it was a man. You know, he's going to be like, well, what did the man look like? So you have to really get into description. So I want y'all to understand that. Not be hateful towards anybody but your enemies, okay? All races can do harm. All races do harm. But when you go up into that powerhouse in the government, in the financial system, in the education system, in the scientific field, highlight your targets. Let them be known that you know, and that you're about to put them down. Okay? Now this is how it works. You don't even harm them. You expose them. And then they bury themselves. Remember that. You don't have to touch them, not one bit. You just gotta let it be known who they are. Alright? Peace.